Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. Okay, so we're talking about math healing. And math healing is going to be associated with math anxiety. So, about me, I'm Latrell. I went to Trenton Central High School. We just had our class reunion. That's why you see it on my shirt. But I graduated in 2008. And I majored, or my community was applied engineering and science. And Sage, I think you were in the same community as me at Trenton High. You just graduated a year before me. Um, After Trenton High, I went to Mercer County Community College for 4 years. I know everybody goes for two for their associates, but I had a little bit of struggle, so I went for 4 years. I majored in mathematics. Go figure. And then I graduated from there. Thanks to the help of Mr. Farmer, who jumped in. Um, he helped me to get my mind right so I can go further my education. We had many talks about that. And then I went to Rider University of Education and got my bachelor's in 2015. That's a little bit about me. I'm also the owner and head math coach at Knowledge Over Grades. Hey, Bonnie. And we are just getting started as far as business growth. Um, so I'm trying to look to grow and bring people onto the team. So if you know anybody who is interested in math and tutoring and willing to learn how to teach, because I did go to school to be a teacher, bring them my way. So I, excuse me, I want to let you know that this live series was basically influenced by a book that I read, Mathematical Mindsets by Joe Bowler. Okay, she is awesome. I really like the book. I learned so much as I was reading it. I had to put it down for 2 weeks just to think about what I had just learned, and I'm going to share some of that with you. So a lot of the information is from this book. Also, she collaborated with Carol Dweck, who wrote the book Mindset. I don't have that book. Actually, I have a digital copy of it, but I'm still reading it. However, I was more interested in the math mindset book, as you can see. And I'm going to talk about some things from that book. So what you're going to need is two pieces of paper, one, so this is two. You need one sheet of lined paper, one blank sheet of paper, and a pencil or a pen. So we're going to do a little activity later on in the presentation that you're going to need those for. So what is math anxiety? Math anxiety. It is defined as an intense emotional feeling of anxiety that people have about their ability to understand and do mathematics. People who suffer from math anxiety feel that they are incapable of doing activities and classes that involve math. Does that sound like you? Does that sound like your child? Does that sound like a friend of yours or a classmate or a student of yours in your class who really just doesn't think that they can do it? So math anxiety, um, this touches on how people feel about themselves and how people feel about their abilities. Um, and that's something that has to be cultivated over time. We're not born feeling bad about what we can do. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But one um, reason for having math anxiety is comparison, comparing ourselves to someone else. Usually in school or in class, in math class, you're comparing yourself to the person sitting next to you, in front of you, or the person who's always raising their hand, the person who's always getting the answer right, and sometimes, a lot of times, the person who the teacher gives a lot of attention to. And that's a problem because the ability or the thought about one's own ability, about themselves, who's not getting the attention, who's not getting the praise, um, they're going to feel like they're not good or that they aren't able to perform at a high level of mathematics like the other students in the classroom. So that's something that we need to watch as parents, as teachers, and as students. If you're able to really tap into yourself and who you are, notice these things in your education so that it won't affect you in a way that um, you start feeling that you can't do something. So another reason for math anxiety is negative messages. And I'm going to spend a lot of time on this because the messages touch on what I was just talking about with the attention. So negative messages can come from everybody and anybody. And a lot of our social media is kind of um, honing in on the negative messages and negativity and, get that away from me type of attitude. And we got to teach our children to do that too. Hey, Brianna. Hey, Nicholas. Darren. Some of the negative messages that we hear or maybe we have said, thank you for sharing my life, Letitia, is I see you're not good in math. Maybe a parent was watching a student do their homework and they're struggling on it. I guess you're not good in math, huh? Be careful with that. Another one could be, I thought you were good in math. What happened? Oh my goodness, that touches me the wrong way. Um, that statement makes a student feel like, oh, I was smart. I'm not smart anymore. I'm not smart anymore because this is hard. This is challenging me a little bit. This type of math, maybe algebra, because a lot of students say, oh, when I got into algebra class, when I started to, hey, Uncle Jamar, when I started to see variables, I'm sorry, I got that out slow. When I started to see variables or letters in my math, I didn't know what was going on. And maybe they started struggling a little bit, and maybe somebody commented, oh, you ain't good in math no more. Or they said to themselves, because we say things to ourselves also, I'm not good in this anymore. I'm not smart anymore. Not good things to say to ourselves. Another thing that could be said, which is actually influenced by emotion, is it's okay. I'm bad at math too. Who says that? A parent, a sibling, a mentor, even a teacher could say that. A teacher maybe who is an elementary school teacher who likes to teach different subjects. Hey, mommy. Who likes to teach different subjects, but maybe math is his or her weak subject. And maybe he or her is helping a student and saying, you know, this is how you do it. Don't worry about it because I'm bad at math too. So it's okay. You don't have to really, really understand it. And that means that that teacher or that person, whoever it is, needs to do a little bit more practice and also work on their messaging because we want our students to think that they can do anything, like anything. Okay. Question to think about is, how do these comments affect students' perception about their ability to do math? We want our students to be able to think they can do anything, not be able to, because anybody is able to do anything. But we want them to think they can because that's what's holding us back. That's what's holding so many people back from doing so many different things, from starting businesses, from getting their credit right, from getting a good job, so many different things, from having a good relationship is mindset, their perception of their own abilities. Think about that. Here are some more negative messages. Math is hard. Math is challenging. You'll never have to use math. Excuse me? You better be using math. If you're not using math and somebody else is doing your math for you, somebody is counting back your change, and they might give you the wrong change, and you're going to be out of money. Or somebody is going to jip you, or somebody is going to pull the wool over your eyes. So you better be doing math. My mom said I don't need to know math because it's too hard. How about this one? My mom said to just use a calculator for everything because this is too hard for me. You may not want to pursue that career. It's too much math. Actually, my mom, hi mommy, told me that she had a teacher who said something like that to her about the career she wanted to pursue that included a few math classes. And guess what? She changed her mind. An educator said that. We have to think about the things that we're saying to our students, because it can really change their life. It really can. And also, what we say to our students becomes their inner voice. It becomes the things that they say to themselves. Hmm, maybe I'm not that good in math. Maybe they're right. Maybe I shouldn't try because I'm not that good in it. So I'll just get a D and go write this creative essay. Here's another one. Only math people are good at math. What's a math person? Who's that? I don't know any math people. And I'm not a math person. I just tried really hard because, like I said, I excuse me, I spent 4 years at a community college majoring in math. I failed the highest level of math class. I failed that twice. I had to take it again. I got a B. I had to take it by itself. And guess what? My professor, she did not skimp on anything. She didn't make me feel like I couldn't pass it. She said, take it again. She said, you might not want to have a job when you're taking this class. It's called differential equations. And I still remember some stuff from that class because I studied hard because I was determined to pass. Like, that was my last class to get my associate's degree in mathematics. So what I want to do now is a little activity using the papers that we have. So the line paper. What we're going to do is I want you to list 5, if you can, at least 1 to 5 messages that are negative that you either heard, somebody said to you, that you either said to someone else, or that you said to yourself about your math ability. So you said, you heard, or you said to yourself about your own math ability or somebody else's math ability. Write those down, or you can comment. I would like you to write it down also, because it's going to be an activity that I'm going to bring back up later. So I want you to keep the list. But if you can't write it down now, maybe write it down later, or comment. Math is not for me. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Taisha. Math is not for me. And I'm sure you probably heard that several times in your class because you're a math teacher. How about, I don't have a math brain? I'm not smart enough. I'm not smart enough to do math. How about the one that I hear all the time? I hate math. Every time I say that I am a math tutor or a math teacher, or I do math, or I'm trying to create a business, build a business on math, education, I hate math. So I get it all the time. And that's why I know math anxiety is widespread and it needs to be talked about, because it's all, and then these people go on to tell me stories and actual scenarios and situations that they had been through in school or in life that kind of solidified for them that math was not for them, or the reason why they hate math, or the feelings that they got um, associating their minds with math. So we wrote down some things. Maybe you wrote down some things, hopefully. Next activity you're going to do is take this piece of paper. Boop. We're going to ball it up like this. And then what I want you to do is think of all the things that you wrote down on this paper. The feeling that you feel when you think about the things that you wrote down, the things that you say to yourself, the things that other people said to you, maybe how your life has changed because of the influence that somebody had on you regarding your math education. Put all those feelings in this ball, okay? Now, squeeze it tight, and I want you to look at a wall and throw it as hard as you can, because you're about to release all of that negative energy, that negative feeling towards math. You don't want that, because math is natural. Math is patterns. Math is us. Like, we were created because of mathematics. So I'm about to throw this ball, okay? Ready? Did you see it? Pick it up and throw it again if you need to. I want you, if your kids weren't able to see this, probably not because they're in school, I want you to show this to them and or do this with them when they come home, because they need to release that negative energy towards math. It's not good. It's not helpful. It's not helping them to progress. I also want you to understand and remember that these messages, these negative messages, are not true. I'm going to tell you what kind of thinking this is. Do not believe them and forget you ever heard them. You don't need any of these negative messages. Letting your students listen, yay! Woo, woo. Hey guys. So me and Taisha, I don't know your last name, Miss Taisha, we're classmates, and we were in the same class in Trenton High. I think I met some of you before, and I just want you to know that math is attainable. And I'm going to go over some things that you can remember as you're doing your math homework and you're learning new math concepts, so that you can actually enjoy it, at least try to enjoy it. Okay, so here we go. Here's why I want you to forget about those comments, those negative comments and those negative messages. Your brain is growing and learning with your brain is growing with everything you learn. So think about a baby. A baby's brain has to grow. A baby is growing. So everything that they do as far as interacting with other people, interacting with toys, is stimulating their brain, and they're just like, their brain is growing, it's firing off electricity, it's assimilating. This is what babies are doing. But guess what? That doesn't stop. As we grow and we get older, we're still learning. We're still taking in information, and our brain is still growing. So we have to take in information. We can't just say, oh, this is hard. I don't think I'm going to try my best at this. Another thing, when babies are learning to walk, how many times do they fall? How many times do babies fall when they are learning to walk? A million? All the time? Their first step, they're falling. But do they say, I don't think I want to walk. I think I'm gonna just like sit in this rocker, or just sit in my playpen and let mommy take care of me for the rest of my life. I don't want to walk because it's too hard. I keep falling. I'm failing all the time. So never mind, ixnay on the walk. No, babies are not saying that. Babies are still trying to walk when their parents are tired, when they're ready to sit down. Oh, mom, I want to walk. Let's try again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Okay, so once they learn how to walk, as they're learning, their brains are just taking in information. Okay, don't do that. Don't put your foot that way. Put it flat. Try to put it flatter. Um, and then all of a sudden they know how to walk. How they do that? Think about those same techniques that a baby uses. A baby is not giving up. So we shouldn't give up. When we're learning something new, it's going to look foreign. Math is a different language. Math is not English. There's symbols and numbers and letters that form a sentence in a different language, okay? So we need to say, okay, this is different, but what tools did I have from the past? What have I learned before? And also, what is this going to lead me to? Maybe I can learn something new. Maybe I can, put this under my belt. Maybe this will lead to something greater. I want to show you some situations why we know that the brain grows. There was a girl who was having seizures. She was having seizures like back to back, and a surgeon removed half of her brain. The surgeon thought that she was going to be paralyzed for the rest of her life. Don't you know that girl is walking with a slight limp? Why? Because her brain, that one side of her brain started to grow little pathways and neurons to accommodate for what was missing. Callie say, I love math. To accommodate what was missing so that she can actually operate. And I'm sure she was a little kid, so she was probably still like, I want to walk, I want to do all these things, not just sitting in each other, oh, I'll never walk again. Kids, the younger you are, the more what's the word? The more drive you have. The older we get, the more we listen to other people's negativity, other people's comments, and we just start taking on other people's problems and other people's insecurities. So try to keep your mind in a young state. Don't be immature. Definitely make mature decisions, but be youthful in your life. Another one, black cab drivers in London. Black cab drivers, if you don't know, have to actually go to school. They have to go for like at least 3 to 4 years. It's called the knowledge. That's what their school is called. And in school, they have to learn, they have to memorize every street in the whole city. Literally. They got to know when to turn, when to go straight, where the lights are, where the landmarks are in the city. And study was done on their brains because they have to remember so much. And this piece in their brain called the hippocampus. So think of hippo and campus of a school. Hippocampus, put those two words together. The hippocampus in all of their brains grew like significantly. And when they compared this part of their brain to that of a bus driver, it was way bigger than that of a bus driver, because a bus driver doesn't have to go down all the streets, just a more general route. That shows you that the brain grows. These are grown men. Or most cab drivers in London are men. So these are grown people who were not babies, and their brain was still growing because of the studying that they had to do. And it was rigorous. One more thing is a study was done on a group of students who did, I forget what they did. They did something repetitively for like 2 weeks. And after the 2 weeks, they either knew that thing, like the back of their hand, or their brain changed. I think both happened. Their brain changed and they were able to know what that thing was that they were studying. So that's why repetition and doing math problems over and over again, different types of problems, does help. Even though some people say, oh, that's rote memory, or it's not good. Kids should be more involved with discovery lessons, which is definitely something that we should incorporate. But doing different things and math problems over and over again will instill concepts and different math skills into your brain so that it becomes second nature. So all of this leads to mindset. There are two types of mindsets. And one of the books I showed you in the beginning, it's called Mindset. Carol Dweck talks about two types. One is growth mindset and one is fixed mindset. Fixed mindset, these people believe that their basic qualities, like their intelligence or talent, or are simply fixed. That they're just, that's how they are. Never going to get better, never going to get worse. They're just, that's how I am. I'm good at math, or I'm just not good at math. That's how I'm going to die. I'm just not going to be able to do math ever. That's what a fixed mindset is. It says they spend their time documenting their intelligence or talent instead of developing them. They also believe that that talent alone creates success without effort. Do you believe that? You don't need any effort to be successful. Then that means there should be more people sitting on the couch. People also with fixed mindsets give up easily, and they're less likely to put in hard work or ask for help. That's something right there. Asking for help. If you don't ask for help, then that means you're not willing to acknowledge that you don't know everything. When you acknowledge that you don't know everything and you want to learn something else, then you ask for help. And that means you're moving over into the growth mindset category, way of thinking. People with growth mindsets thrive on challenge and see failure not as evidence of unintelligence, but as a heartening springboard. So a place where they can bounce off of. They fail. Oh man, I made a mistake. Oh man, I got the wrong answer. Okay, let me go through the steps. That's why it's good to write down your steps instead of say, oh, I don't know how I got the answer. I just got it. I don't know. I don't write down the steps, guys. Let me go back and retrace my steps and see where I messed up. Oh, it was a negative. Oh, that I should have subtracted instead of added. Okay, let me redo that. Oh, okay. I get it now. The answer's 5. Duh. So a springboard to go back and correct your steps. Don't you know that's doing something to your brain? Tomorrow I'm going to talk about that. The brain on mistakes. Okay? Tomorrow, Saturday at 11 a.m. We're going to talk about the brain on mistakes. What happens in your brain? Another thing about growth mindset, these people believe that intelligence can be developed, which is opposite of those with fixed mindset. You get smarter through hard work, and you keep going even when work is hard, and show persistence and grit. Life is hard. If you're not going to try hard in math class or school or anything, then it's going to be hard for you to approach adulthood, because things are challenging out here. And I'm talking to kids right now, but I'm sure adults, you guys know too. Things change after you graduate from high school, and after the reins are let loose from being under your parents. But if you have a growth mindset about life, you'll do very well, because you're going to look at each challenge as an opportunity to move up and to grow and to learn and to do better and to fix yourself, instead of saying, woe is me, I don't know, I'm not good at this, I don't know why I got fired. Okay? So one other thing I want to talk about with growth and fixed mindset is that it doesn't always come from us, who we are, or it doesn't always come from what we say to ourselves, but it comes from other people around us. Like I was talking about the negative messages. So some negative messages are kind of in disguise, like in form of praise. Sometimes we may hear something like, you're smart. You're so smart. You're so smart. How everybody says that. I even say that. You're so smart, or you're gifted with intelligence. Gifted? What about my friend over here? Is my friend also gifted with intelligence? Or my friend's not gifted with intelligence, only me? No. So that's what's called fixed praise. Um, there is a thought in higher up education that the gifted is kind of saved for a certain type of person, and there are not a lot of women in that category, and there are not a lot of minorities in that category, and the gifted is usually considered math and science. For instance, when I was at Mercer County Community College, I was taking those higher up math classes. I was the only female in my class who stayed. Some some dropped out, and I was the only black girl. I was the only minority in my class. So I was the only black female. Everybody else was male, male white guys or Asians. Um, but it's not a lot of females or minorities even trying to go that route, even trying to go into mathematics or physics or sciences, um, because they have this fixed mindset that, oh, that's going to be too much work. That's too much math. That's too much. Or I'm not good at that. So I'm just going to do psychology. I'm just going to do history. You know, I mean, nothing wrong with those majors, but when that's your fallback, or when you're afraid, when you really want to do mathematics or you really want to do physics, but somebody talks you out of it, oh my gosh. You have to ignore those thoughts. You have to ignore those messages. You have to ignore that negativity coming to you, because and sometimes it can be like people of authority in your life, people who are your parents or your teachers. You got to say, okay, I hear you. Say to yourself, I hear you, but I'm not going to listen to that because I'm identifying that as negative. But if you try, you can't say, "Oh, I'm smart enough. I'm gonna do it anyway," and not try. If you try, then it's a different story, and you can be the creator of your own life. So here's some growth praise. Here are some praise phrases or sentences that we want to be saying to our kids, in whatever position we are in authority to them, in by giving them encouragement. If we're giving them encouragement, something like, you have really thought deeply about this, huh? We're talking about their thinking. We're talking about their performance. We're not talking about them as a person. We're talking about what they have done, what they have produced. Your score shows that you understood this concept really well. It does it? So that's going to encourage a student to want to try harder and either get the same score, 100 or an A, or better. It's going to encourage them to do better. Not, you're smart. Oh, you got 100. You're smart. Next time they take a test, they get a 67. What happened? I thought you were smart. I thought you were good in math. I guess I'm not good in math. Mm-mm. Those aren't encouraging words, because the after effect. Another one is, I like the way you tried all kinds of strategies on that math problem until you finally got it. That's encouraging. That is a growth praise, because it's helping your student to see that them applying different strategies was a good thing because it helped them to get the answer. They had to try, they had to work towards it. And it didn't show, oh, this came easy to me and that's why I'm smart, but I had to work for this. And that's why I'm at the position I'm at now. I had to work for it. So here's something to think about. If we don't have growth mindset, then we don't believe in our abilities, and we're not going to even try, which is not teaching our brains anything new so that it can grow. We want our brains to grow. So we have to take in information. We have to be open to taking information and trying, making mistakes, which is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. We have to make a mistake so that we can use it as a springboard towards the right answer, towards the right way. All right, that was all that I had today. What did you think? Was it informative? Did you like it? Um, I want you guys to share this video as much as you can. I think I heard some shares. I see some notifications. And I want you to also bring your children in to watch so that they can get an idea of how they can change their mindset towards something that's more productive and that's going to help them move forward in their math education, because they got to take math. You got to take it. You don't got to love it like I do, but you got to take it. So have your students and your children do what they can so that they can progress forward in math class. Thank you for participating. Taisha, thank you for letting your students listen to my video. I did not expect that. Hopefully I could do some more in the future, and hopefully they learn something. Remember, and they can also tune in. They can join my group also. I have KOG Math Achievers Club on Facebook and on Google+. I'm going to be going live doing math Q&As. If they're doing their homework and they're alone, maybe they need a little bit of help. So I'm going to be going live, and they can join in, ask their question. I'll write it right on the screen. I'm going to get this screen share thing figured out so that I could get that going. But I think that's it. Join me tomorrow at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11 a.m. also for the last part, which is, can you believe it? Oh my gosh, can you believe it? All right. Bye, everyone. Join my newsletter. I'm going to put it in the description, and I can send you motivational math tips, study guides, and different things like that. Thank you. Bye.